Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. My name is Jose, I am a Golden in Kendo, and this is Kendo Tips. The plan for today, we're gonna be watching a couple of videos. One of them, it's a video that one of you guys sent me, and also we're gonna keep looking at some tournament videos. If you're here, let me know you're here by saying hello, hitting the like button, or if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. I am having a different setup today, so please, if you have any lag or any problems, let me know. And the main reason for that is because I've been trying to experiment a little bit with doing this. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, I can write hello. So I think this is gonna be useful when watching some videos. Maybe I can use it to like point out things, and I just thought it would be a cool thing to do. And let me say hi to the people in the comments. Louis, thank you very much for passing by. You're really looking forward to this. Awesome, thank you very much. And yes, I'm doing well today. I hope the same for you. Gregory, how you doing? Morning. Thank you for being a member, by the way. Thank you for your support. Galaxy, Ohio gozaimasu. Good morning. Thank you very much for passing by. And good morning. Actually, the video that I'm gonna be showing is video. So thank you very much for sending that my way. And things might take me a little bit longer because I'm trying to get used to this new setup, but if you guys see anything funny or anything happening, let me know. Okay, so I wanted to start first with the tournament video and then transition into the review video, just to kind of get a little bit of a different timing, different vibe on things. The video you sent me, well, I'll talk about it in a second. Just give me 1 second. Let me make sure that I have everything set up over here. Okay, so things might take me a little bit extra today, guys. Let me see. Okay, so we've been watching this this video from the what's the name of this? It has a fun name. The SBS Kendo King Shiai. So we watch, I think it was like elementary, middle school, and high school finals. We watch females. So today I just wanted to go over onto the university finals and the male finals. Okay, so that will be the plan for today. Let me make sure that I have everything going on. Okay, and the time it's around here. I'm I'm hearing some clapping, but I don't know which video is clapping right now. Maybe it was the background music. Okay. Blade, thank you. Thank you very much for passing by. And Christina, thank you very much for being here and being a member. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, guys, I guess I didn't say this early on, but if you would like to join the Discord server, if you're new here and don't know this, we have a Discord server for the Kendo Tips channel. So you're welcome to pass by. It's free and check it out. Become a member of it and meet some new Kendo people as well. So that's definitely something that's available for everybody to pass by and do that. And if you would like to support the channel and become a member, you can please check out this link, and that way you can help out more of these videos coming up and more of these live streams. By the way, guys, this past 2 weeks, I've been slow coming out with some videos because I've been, super busy with things. But I hope that this upcoming weeks will be coming with something fun and interesting. Okay. Shen, thank you very much for passing by. Welcome. Okay. So let's see.
네, 끝났습니다. 허윤영 선수의 승리네요.
노련의 허윤영 선수가.
Let me know, guys, if this is too loud. By the way.
자, 길었던 연장 승부 끝에 결국은 여자부 허윤영 선수의 우승으로 마무리가 됩니다. 와, 정말 어려운 승부였고 허윤영 선수도 많이 지쳐 보였는데.
맞습니다. 결정적인 때 큰 칼로, 큰 머리로 한 판을 땄습니다.
Okay. I believe.
네, 잘했습니다. 먼저 땄습니다. 통해서.
Okay. This was the ladies finals, and this is going to be universities finals.
이제 대학부와 일반부 남아 있고요. 대학부 결승은 유원대의 남현준, 대구대의 권호규 선수가 올라왔습니다.
네, 남현준 선수.
I like the camera work they do in this tournament.
성공입니다. 네. 충북공업고등학교를 나왔습니다. 권호규 선수 주특기 머리고 광명고등학교 나왔습니다.
그렇습니다.
감독이고 권호규 선수 지도사범은 전홍철 감독입니다.
네. 권호규 선수는 작년에 이 SBS배
Notice how they don't just go in from the beginning
과연 우승을 차지할 수 있을지.
into each other, right? They're trying to figure out the distance, trying to figure out the opponent. They don't just blindly go in. And a lot of times people kind of just rush in, and I think it could be a very dangerous moment.
출중한 기량으로 결승까지 올라온 만큼 또 멋진 승부를 기대해 봐야겠습니다.
맞습니다. 두 선수 다 겨눈 자세가 중단 겨눈 자세가 아주 안정되고 좋은 자세를 가지고 있습니다.
One thing that you start seeing at this level that you didn't see in the younger fights, it's a little bit of that shiai communication, that shiai work, how they try to feel each other's tension, the center, trying to figure out where the opening is before really committing into a technique. And I think it's very evident right here at this point, right? They're light on their feet. Actually, let me go a little bit further back. Right here. Right, they're light on their feet. They're trying to figure out the opponent. As I think as people go up in level, this starts becoming a little bit more evident, and it's also done a little bit differently because, for example, somebody with a little bit more experience or a little bit like more mature Kendo, let's just say that, they tend to not be so jumpy in the sense of going in and out. They try to feel as they coming in, but still that readiness in their footwork is still there, and that's something that you have to really train for. I feel at this point, especially white, kind of like became a little bit too static. For half a second.
끝을 겨누고 있습니다. 자, 권호규가 맞고 들어가 봤는데요. 자, 미끄러졌습니다. 남현준 선수가 넘어집니다.
지금 권호규 선수가 앞으로
So I really like, I'm gonna say this, I really like that White kept the intention on the opponent even after he fell, until the moment that they say Yame.
자, 미끄러졌습니다.
And if maybe we can see, I think it was almost. Let me see. I think he almost got him on the cut there too.
번호기가 맞고 들어가 봤는데.
Right? Like almost, maybe that was a kote, not sure. But interesting. Okay.
자, 미끄러졌습니다. 남현준 선수가 넘어집니다.
지금 권호규 선수가 앞으로 들어가면서 칼을 이렇게 들었는데
네.
왼손을 저렇게 들으면서 반칙을 줄 수 있습니다.
아,
저게 지나치게서 이렇게 더 올라가면 반칙이 됩니다.
네.
중단해서 검도를 하는 거기 때문에 왼손을 올리는 것은 그 원리에서 어긋나기 때문에
예.
반칙을 줍니다.
Abigail, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Good morning.
저렇게 막는 동작은 뭐 자연스러운 검도의 동작.
This is very. You guys gotta be always
저렇게
attentive
막는
of this moment. I know right now it's a little bit confusing when it comes to the provisional rules for COVID, but this is a very dangerous situation, especially if you take it for granted, right? If you notice,
이렇게.
they're kind of like out of sync with each other, but as soon as White gets, even a little bit before he gets into that line of center with the opponent, kind of grounds himself to start going backwards. And this is very interesting. This is pretty cool. So I think many people use Suba Seriai as a moment to kind of rest or to push the opponent. So I think many people feel that when they're in Suba Seriai, they need to push the opponent. The way I like to do it, I like to think about it as if for me, the way I like to think about it is as if I'm trying to push myself off the opponent. So I think when you do that, when you have this mentality, you don't waste energy, but you also set yourself up for a good opening. So I think White does this very well right here. You see, instead of using the upper body to push off the opponent, he's kind of setting himself up for the attack. And at the moment of engagement, he starts by pushing the hands off rather than pushing his opponent away. And to me, this does two things. One, it helps you get the distance you need, but also keeping the contact with the opponent's shinai as he's backing off. It kind of makes it a little bit of a delay. It kind of gives a delay for the opponent to understand that he's pulling away. So it's a little bit of a, I'm not gonna say it's a trick. But it's definitely a tool that you can use in order to make it a little bit more surprising. It's a tool that you can have. It's a tool that you can use to make a little bit of a surprise to your opponent that you're attacking. So to try to hide away the fact that you're going away for the technique. Hope that makes sense. I'll try to make a quick small video from that, but this is very interesting. This is something that I notice that people don't use as much as I think they should. Let's see. Okay. Right, stat on an opponent on the ground. Classy. So I think the timing for my stream might be, my timing for my stream is definitely way off. Let me see. Okay, should be fine now. Okay. Let's keep going.
뭐 자연스러운 검도의 동작이 아닌 거죠.
네네. 그리고 그 장래성이 안 좋습니다.
But yeah, I just want to play this one more second. Okay, hold on. Sorry guys, this thing is like so okay. So yeah, if you look at it right here.
저렇게 막는 동작은 뭐 자연스러운 검.
You see, it's an immediate attack because he's setting himself
저렇게 막는
slightly before the moment where he's going to shoot. So he's kind of anticipating that he's going to attack by setting up his body, And instead of pushing his opponent away, he's pushing his arms away to kind of make the distance, almost using his opponent's using his opponent's direction, his opponent's momentum, I guess, because if you look at it, his opponent, I cannot really put my mouse there because it will show up the square, but if you look at his feet, I can do this, right? So if you look at his feet right here, right, you can see that he's kind of like already on the move back. So White, instead of pushing the opponent away because the opponent is already moving backwards, he's actually pushing himself away. Actually, let me change the color of this. Okay, I think I can do maybe like this, or maybe I should do like a bright color here. So he's pushing himself away from the opponent rather than pushing the opponent off. So if you watch,
동작은 뭐 잘
see?
저렇게 막는 동작은 뭐 자연스러운 검도의 동작이 아닌 거죠.
네네.
Pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know what you guys
장래성이 안
think. Let me know.
예.
차라리 공격적으로 칼이 나가는 게 훨씬 좋습니다. 상대가 공격해 들어오면 같이 치면 되거든요. 네, 그럼 방어가 된단 말이죠.
Oh, Red had a really nice intention there.
네, 그럼 방어가 된단 말이죠.
You see, he tries to get a reaction from the opponent, raises his hands, but okay, it wasn't an opening, but what I'm saying is that Red had that intention of going in for an attack immediately. It's pretty cool.
자, 남현준 선수도 지금 칼이 뭐 적극적으로 잘 나가는데요.
네. 둘 다 자세가 좋습니다.
So, I know we were talking about before in the last stream about Korean Kendo being more physical or athletic. I don't remember what the word that we were using, but if you notice here already, is not the same type of Kendo we were watching. I think it was because of the age group that we were watching before.
기다리고 있는 것
네,
같습니다.
기다리고 있습니다. 서로 움직이기를 기다리고 있죠.
So we were doing this talk about how different Kendo from Japan and Korea might be. And I used to think that Korean Kendo was more physical, but now that I'm looking more and more at it,
그렇습니다.
I'm not sure if there's so much differences.
어느 순간에 칼이 나가느냐가 중요합니다.
자, 권호규가 먼저 다가가 왔고요. 빈틈없이 막아내는
So-
남현준.
Actually, this is something that I was thinking about this past week. There's the moment where you are trying to pressure your opponent and trying to make an opening, and both of you are doing the same thing, and a lot of times that pressure kind of doesn't do anything because both of you are so focused on putting pressure that the pressure from the opponent is not affecting you. Let's just say that, right? So it's interesting because you have to kind of sometimes switch the timing to get that reaction from your opponent, and you see it right here, right? So if you look at this, they're both of them. They're kind of putting pressure in,
어느 순간에 칼이 나가는
but it's not really having an effect. They're both kind of just going back and forth, but that change of timing is what causes the reaction. So sometimes we just have to be aware that maybe because we're so focused on trying to put pressure on the opponent, that pressure is not being registered. And we need to do something to kind of break that pattern. And I think this could be one example.
어느 순간에 칼이 나가느냐가 중요합니다.
자,
See, it wasn't a successful attack, it wasn't a successful Ippon, but they both got out of that moment of being stuck. I don't know if that makes sense. Avi, thank you very much for passing by. How you doing?
권호규가 먼저 다가가
Well, I
왔고요.
was thinking about you today actually. I'm like moving stuff around and I found my VR headset and I was like, oh, how's he doing? Haven't talked to him in a while.
틈없이 막아내는 남현준. 이번에도 권호규가 움직입니다. 자, 밀고 들어가는데요.
대학교 선수들이 아주 좋은 경기를 하고 있습니다.
네.
다른 자세로.
Discipline, you're saying you compare Korean Kendo being more athletic by watching the Korean in the 2018 WKC. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I had that impression about Korean Kendo. But I think we have to look at a bigger picture, not just one fight. Also, you have to think about the age group that was sent out for this tournament, and did every fighter fight the same way? So what I'm trying to say is that there are many points to take into consideration in order to kind of make that assumption, let's just call it that, because as we're seeing, there's different facets, there are different faces that get shown in different age groups of Kendo. So I think it's interesting to watch it. And by the way, I'm not saying that one is better than the other, one has more weight than the other. Yes, Japan has won more world championships, but that doesn't take away on the progress that each country is doing in their Kendo. Avi, yeah, we definitely need to get into. I was like trying to play yesterday and I had to do so many updates that I kind of just got tired, but I think everything's updated, so we definitely should be doing that.
침착하게.
이 대학에서 사실 기량이 많이 느는 또 시기 아닙니까?
그럼요.
네.
대학 선수들이 가장 또 활발하고 힘도 좋고 패기도 있고
Guys, if you haven't
그러니까요.
take a second, please hit the like button. It really helps out the stream to be pushed out to more people out there.
팽팽한 승부 어느덧 1분 10초 정도가 남아 있습니다. 자, 기다리고 있어요.
섣불리
So, this is, I think, another moment of both of their pressure is kind of came to stalemate. So I expect that one of them is going to do something, completely different in a few seconds. I believe both of them have tried to do maybe like those little jumps and those little those sudden movements to get a reaction, but it hasn't worked. So I think somebody might just kind of like just take a leap right now.
것 같죠.
네, 자, 권호규 가네요. 권호규.
And
남현준 내주지 않습니다.
I guess I was kind of right.
권호규가 답답하니까 그냥 들어가면 맞을 것 같으니까 들어서 공격에 들어갔습니다.
네네.
I mean, yeah, man. I believe if you look at the last couple of tournaments that we see online from Japan, they're more relaxed about the COVID rules, especially about the Suba Serie. I believe that, and as a matter of fact, I have a friend that just went to a Shimpan seminar in Japan, so I'm gonna kind of like pick his brain a little bit on that. But I believe that things that are staying firm is the kiai during Suba Serie, and the time has become definitely much longer in Suba Serie since the COVID rules started. But I think they're still focusing on making people separate, just as I think this is a mean to just promote people to fight rather than stay there in a stalemate. Last week, one of the fights that we saw had a lot of Super Serie, and they did give a Hansoku, but it's still it looked like it was a lot.
들어갈 때도 그냥 들어가면 안 되는 거죠.
네. 불안하니까 그냥 들어가면 불안하니까
네.
그냥 들고 들어가죠.
자,
오.
손목 뚫리지 않았습니다. 20초 남아 있습니다.
중단 싸움에서는 남현준이가 이기고 있는 것 같습니다. 자꾸 권호규 선수가 자꾸 들고 먼저 뛰고 그러죠.
네. 반면에 흔들림 없이
네.
이어나가는 남현준. 네,
연장.
시간.
Okay, they're gonna go to Encho, but before we watch the Ippon, I kind of want to point something out. We're talking a little bit about the pressure against opponent. What can you do to make your opponent move? Whether it is to block, to defend, to open up, to attack recklessly. And a lot of it starts with your footwork. In a competition, I think it's okay to have in competition a footwork where you go a lot forward, backwards, and around, and so on. A lot of times for testing, this is not desired because it kind of shows that you're giving away you're giving away ground, or you're losing your pressure, right? Ideally, you kind of want to just to always keep adding the pressure and not really be afraid of being hit. I guess, in tournament, it's a little bit different mentality when it comes to that. But
남현준.
if you look at here, the footwork, I'm going to be looking mostly at white.
반면에 흔들림 없이
네.
이어나가는 남현준.
There's a lot of body movement, a lot of footwork movement. But one thing that I'm understanding here that I feel like, one thing that it looks like is that his legs are not getting tense. So he's not wasting time by tensing up the wrong way. He's making short movements, trying to be controlled,
반면에 흔들림
not
없이
overcommit.
이어나가는 남현준.
And especially this little step right here.
이어나가는 남현준.
You see, right here. Normally, when people do this step like this, where they put more weight forward, they tend to drop all their weight on the front leg, right? And you want to avoid that. You want to avoid putting all the weight there because then you lose traction from your back foot and it's hard for you to actually launch into a technique. The way that he's doing it, he's putting some weight forward. He's kind of giving that intention forward. But if you look at the back leg, that back leg is engaged, ready to push forward to throw a technique if he needs to. Right? I hope that makes sense. Let's erase these things. Rise, you're saying that you can pray for, I guess, the extension of the COVID rules being used as an excuse to change the rules. You think it's more of a play. Yeah, I think the COVID rules are not going to be completely gone. I think something might remain, something will remain. So I just hope that they make it, because listen, I don't think that there's anything in these new rules that hasn't been a thing in the previous rules. The only difference is that Hansoku wasn't the penalty for staying too long. The way it should have been done is that the judges, Shimpan will say wakare, and like they separate and then they continue the fight. That being said, many people also got confused with that. Not even the judges, but also the people watching the clock. A lot of people kind of just kept the clock running, or something. So a lot of people stop the clock when you're not supposed to stop the clock there. The players sometimes were confused, either tried to go back to, and I'm talking about just regular like low-level tournaments or not so high-level tournaments. So there's a lot of things that happen in there that were causing confusion. But I think the addition to these new rules, it makes it a little bit more confusing too. But, a lot of the points that, like, for example, that you should hit, what's it called? Hikiwaza as soon as possible. Yeah, that wasn't a rule. It was kind of more of a, an incentive, like, what's it called? You were encouraged to do this. So, I don't know. My opinion, there's a lot of things going on, and I think things are getting super confusing. Cloudy, thank you very much for passing by. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Rise, you're saying they used to like the mini battle in Suba Serie A, now it's all but gone. I don't fully agree with that, especially based on the tournaments in Japan. If you look at them right now, you are getting that fight. It doesn't happen as long, but I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks, actually not a few weeks, probably like a couple of months ago, and it's about the way that we were kind of like talking about it. It's about the moment of Suba Serie. You should separate when that engagement of the fight is gone. So for example, like if you come in for a technique and there's tari and then there's a little bit of this, and then you go out, this is okay. The problem is, and again, this is opinion, this is not in the rules or anything, but the observation that was made is that the problem is when people come into Suba Serie, maybe something happens, but then they relax to then do something else. This is kind of like the thing that they're trying to avoid, for them to spend a lot of useless time in Suba Serie. The other thing that it's kind of like a problem is when there's no tension, there's nothing to be done, and somebody is trying to get away so the fight can continue, and the other person is coming in. That being said, in the let's just call it the original rules, there was things that the judges could do to either give a hansoku for this specific behavior or just bluntly separate the fight so the fight could keep going. So I don't think we needed a new set of rules. I guess I'm just trying to put myself in both sides' shoes. Hope that makes sense. Let me catch up with some of these comments. Avi Asanitoka, it's easier for you because Suba Serie is weak for you, but it's annoying. 19 Matt 98, thank you very much for passing from Poland. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here. By the way, if we're having a couple new people, just remember that we have a Discord server where you can pass by and just meet more Kendo people, and the link is right on the comments, okay? It's completely free, so please pass by and check it out. So, Rice, you're saying that some people abuse Suba Serie, but you enjoyed it with no issues. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. And a lot of times, there are a lot of tricks that you can do, especially for the people that are really pushing, that they think that they are on the up and up for having this, like, all the strength. And if you fight somebody, if you take that person and you take it to, I don't know, a high school student in Japan, that person gets in by Hikiwaza. So there's a lot of interesting points to explore, but just people weren't doing it, and I'm glad that they did something, because my problem was that fight of the Korean World Championship. That fight was really bad. It was ridiculous, especially the falling, right? The last Shimpan seminar that I was in, which was a little unofficial seminar, the thing that the sensei was mentioning is that any behavior that is done on purpose to stall the fight or to deviate from the purpose of the fight, this should be considered hansoku. And I think I don't know if this is actually written anywhere, but I think that this is a good way of putting it, right? Because, for example, some of the falls that were happening in the WKC, they didn't look like falls. They looked like dives, right? So, like, I was really upset watching that. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I think that was horrible. And I don't want Kendo to look like that, especially in the World Championships. So, I don't know. You guys let me know. And Abby, yes, there's always ways to abuse the rules. There is no set of rules. I mean, like, I guess we can just, like, what's it called? Bring back the games, and just do it to the death. That'll be just whatever goes, it goes. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's watch this end show.
네, 시간이 다 됐습니다.
Kagarieko, people being able to abuse Suba Serie is 99% due to the experience of Shimpan. I agree 100%. 100%.
살금살금 움직여왔던 남현준.
이제 남현준도 이제 적극적으로 나오네요.
네, 자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네, 자.
What do you guys think of that kote? Oh, look, I was like, it didn't look like it was a kote. Let's see. Oh, it wasn't that one, sorry. Okay. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this being a kote? I think we always have to keep in mind of different things. For me, the thing that if you're gonna say like this bothersome, it's how close it was, right? Let's just
움직여
hear
봤던
in regular
남현준.
speed.
제 남현준도 이제 적극적으로 나오네요.
네. 자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네. 자.
So the problem that I have with it is the sound. I guess you cannot hear it in slow motion.
살금살금 움직여 봤던 남현준.
제 남현준도 이제 적극적으로 나오네요.
네. 자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네.
Right? It was a little bit. It sounded too much like it hit Suba. It didn't though. I don't think it did. But definitely when you hit it this close, it could be tricky, right? Maybe it did hit Suba. Maybe, I don't know. But let's explore everything else besides the point of impact, because everything else I think is on point. So first of all, can we point out how crazy this guy is going back, how Red is going backwards? Look at the back foot. This guy is hopping in one leg before he hits the Ippon. Watch this.
네. 자, 칼을 들었습니다.
This is crazy. This is crazy. And it goes for me to say how Kendo, it doesn't fall into just one frame of things. There are many things that we can do when in the heat of the moment to get an Ippon. And this is something that I don't think you really train for this, right? You don't train to be hopping in one leg to then hit an Ippon. But in the heat of the moment.
남현준도 이제 적극적으로 나오네요.
네. 자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네. 자.
I don't know what you guys think. And guys, when we talk about Kendo, a lot of times we put a lot of restrictions. I don't want to say a lot of times we put a lot of restrictions. But many times we put a lot of restrictions in what we can do in our Kendo to try to be, let's just say, perfect. And sometimes we just have to be able to just let things go. I think that this is a good example for that, because you don't train to hop in one leg
자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네.
before an Ippon, right? But it's something that he did in order to adjust the distance, to have the proper timing, and to be able to have the stability he needed in order to get that point.
제 남현준도 이제 적극적으로 나오네요.
네. 자, 칼을 들었습니다. 네. 자. 남현준 선수의
So it's definitely a very interesting Ippon, something that again we don't train for this thing, but a very interesting Ippon done based on just natural adjustment. Is this something that we want to do? Maybe not, but also sometimes I feel that we need to just let go a lot of the restrictions we put ourselves in order to do better Kendo. And when I say better Kendo, I mean when I say better Kendo, I mean it as in the way to keep fighting, keep the fight going, and what is it that I want to say? You want to avoid holding yourself back. Sometimes you have to take away those restrictions so you don't hold back and you are aware and attentive of what an opportunity can be or when the opportunity can come. So yeah, I'm not gonna say like, oh, train to be hopping in one leg, but I think this is a cool execution. Kakari, sick kote. Not quite on target, but you can see why Shimpas that didn't get clear view a target awarded it. Freedom, it didn't have that definite pop sound. Sounded like a bamboo and tuba clashing. Totally, I agree with that. But that being said, great show of Ippons. Okay, so that was the first video. The first part of the video. Now the second part, I want to talk a little bit about testing, and this is a Yondan test that sent to the channel. And by the way, guys, give me 1 second. By the way, guys, remember in the Discord server you can send me videos, and I'm doing that. You can send me your videos if you are part of a member of the channel, so you can become a member for only 99 cents and support Kendo Tips. Let me just put this in the you get a couple of extra perks by being a member, so please check them out. Let me know what you think, and I'll put the link in the comments. But that being said, thank you very much for those guys that are members. Really helps support the channel, and I'll keep bringing more stuff specifically for members in the upcoming months. I think I mentioned in the last stream, but I'm gonna say it again. I am planning a trip to Japan in a few weeks actually, so I will be. I have some ideas and some thoughts of things that I can do for you guys. So thank you for being part of the Kendo Tips channel though. Kakari, hopping on one leg, forward and backwards, etc. Now, okay, so Kakari, you said first. Now we know why in some high schools they do a lot of ground ladder training. You see, I don't think they do it for that reason. I just think they do it to strengthen that muscle. So, wait, hold on. I forgot to plug my computer. That would have been bad if my battery would run off. I don't think they do that for that reason, but definitely helps. A lot of the drills that I know that they are really worth doing are stability drills. So even, you know, like with what's it called, the medicine ball, like extending my way and like just turning, or with a mace, those are excellent drills to do in order to have good stability as you have your arms away from you. So because I think the problem is not necessarily being able to hop in one leg, but also being able to hop in one leg while extending your arms. This one, it can be tricky. So you shared this video. This is your successful shinsa for Yondan. You are on the left side, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm not mistaken. I think like you're gonna be on the left side. And I'm going to say, you asked what are some of the things, I think, if I remind me if I'm wrong, what are some of the things to kind of focus on for Godan, right? Like to go up to the next level. In the Discord server, there's a list. There's a guide for testing all the way up to Godan, so I'll recommend everybody to kind of check it out. But let's keep. Oh, by the way, I also put my Godan testing behind it, so we'll watch a little bit of that, and I'll tell you. Not that my Godan testing was perfect, because I don't think it was, but we'll use it a little bit. So I always look at the Sonkyo and the beginning, and one thing that I'm gonna say, I feel that normally these steps kind of like show a lot, and I feel that you're doing it pretty good. Maybe drawing the sword a little bit too kind of like too compact and quick, but I think it's pretty good. From this position, the only thing that I'm going to say that I'll be mindful is your right arm. So if you look at the right arm right here, it looks like it's like overextended, like it's extended too much. So it looks like you have a little bit of extra tension there. I think I mentioned in the comment that you left that you have great stability. The moment of impact, this right here, the fact that you're able to, especially when your opponent is bigger than you and you're able to kind of maintain this posture going straight forward, I think this was a great show. If you look at this is going to be my first observation, is that I feel that sometimes your movement of your legs tend to be a little bit kind of like not sharp enough. So one thing that I always try to do is I try to make my right leg move slowly, but when I move my back leg, I try to move it sharp and faster to kind of re-engage it. So it looks a little bit like it's taking you a little bit of time to move, like moving that back leg a little bit relaxed, which is not a big deal. Okay, this is not a big deal. I'm just being like hyper picky, I guess. But you had here a little bit of that forward intention towards the opponent, and when your opponent kind of started returning it back, your back foot, wait, hold on, it was a little bit before that, hold on. Okay, right here. So you put a little bit of that forward intention, great, amazing, I love that. But as soon as your opponent starts bringing it forward, you see your back leg kind of disengages and goes back a little bit. This, I would say this is something that you might want to try to kind of get over it as you practice. And unfortunately, the only way to do that is get hit a lot. I don't think at this point, for example, you did it to adjust the distance. Sometimes we have to do it to adjust the distance. But it just looks to me that you were ready to go, you had him. And then you readjust, and that readjustment was enough for him to keep the pressure going and coming in to hit the man. I think that if instead you would have readjusted the back foot, immediately just gone in forward, you probably would have had that man on top of the fact that you showed your stability. So that being said, I think it's a great show of a man. If you're gonna be extra picky, I think you would have taken that man because you were the one that kind of initiated the pressure. But you let that go, and that kind of like just made it enough time for your opponent to take it. I really love, again, your continuity for your kote, your forward intention, and making sure that you take the ground and hold, plant yourself against your opponent. As you came in here, I think this was a really good show. Kind of, you had that forward intention and then you took it. Amazing. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys, because I think we can. Let me see. Yeah, actually I'm making it pretty big already, and like it's like okay. Maybe like this would be better. Okay, sorry guys. So I told you that sometimes it looks like you're just going, you made the decision of going without any previous opening, and whatever you do before, you kind of like that decision kind of sticks with you. And maybe this was one of those times. But that being said, I think that this was a great opportunity for you to come in. Let's break it down a little bit. So from here, okay, let's go a little bit slow motion. So this was a great opportunity. As you're coming in, your opponent kind of does something, gets kind of distracted or frozen and you go in and coming in for that man, great. Now, to make it better, in my opinion, is the footwork. If you look at it, let me go, maybe this speed is good enough. So if you look at the feet, kind of you go 1 foot, other foot immediately, 1 foot, other foot immediately, but the same kind of like same timing, same speed. And then you just go. One way that I will say that you can actually start practicing again, is that move that foot, same speed, and then while you have that pressure from the back foot, kind of pushing in forward, when you see that moment that you have to come in, kind of bring that foot in a little bit sharp, a little bit quicker. The reason for that is because you want to avoid spending too much time, let's say this is your back foot, too much time off the ground. So ideally, how do I say this? I don't want to make it confusing, guys. So the speed, the timing of the stepping should be the same. I think you're doing that great. But what I'm saying is that bring that right foot, and then instead of going at the same speed with the back foot, kind of keep the pressure forward with the back foot and then move it quickly. So you can re-engage the foot immediately, and also you don't have too much time in the air with the back foot. But I think, again, great. It's good that you're trying to show diversity in your technique. Okay, let's watch this one real quick. So right here, your opponent starts giving you a little bit of pressure. You return that pressure, that's great, but you see, sorry guys, you see that back foot kind of comes in a little bit too slow. And then both of you kind of came in. I think that if you practice a little bit of moving your body, even without bringing that back foot forward, kind of like after you take that first step and you give a little bit of extra pressure with the back leg, maybe you would have caused your opponent to kind of just shoot in the same way that he just did. And because you were engaged with the back foot and already kind of in the middle of the push forward, you would have been able to come in a little bit earlier than him. And again, this is all theoretical. Not sure if this would have worked every time, but because you were so close to the moment of impact, that it could have been definitely a good what's it called? You could have had the edge on him. Now, this is something that I was told to focus on for my Golden test, and this is something that I kept it in mind a lot during my test, and it's especially after a big distance. How do you approach your opponent? How do you go back to the moment where you can start putting pressure? And the way that they told me to avoid is to just do a regular walk, and which I believe that's what you're doing right here, right? So ideally, even though that you're far away, there's two mentalities that I was told to have in this type of situations. One is that you're in kamae, attentive to the opponent, and you're kind of telling them, you messed up, you gotta come back here, come here. It's kind of like controlling I know it sounds kind of rude saying it like that, but this is kind of like the way that I was explained. You're in kamae, you kind of just attentive, you're ready to attack, even the opponent is far away, and you're telling him, you messed up, gotta come back here. And then as you approach your opponent, instead of just regular walking, you kind of want to just, again, use your kendo footwork and come in a little bit more, showing that intention against the opponent. Especially, in my opinion again, especially because you want to be ready in kamae, more or less at this distance already. I think that getting in kamae, or getting ready to be ready for kamae at this distance could be a little bit too dangerous. And if you think about it, this is way closer than the distance that we come up after Sonkyo, right? In Sonkyo, maybe we're like this distance, not this distance, maybe we're this distance in Sonkyo, and here we should be ready, not here. Oh, okay. So your second partner passed too. Cool. So you see here, I agree with discipline. You hit like a truck, and I love it. Okay. When I saw this video, I'm like, I want to practice with him. Discipline, you said that far apart you can do a yumiashi like in kata to reset distance. Yes, and that's why I said regular walk, not a yumiashi, right? This just looks like a regular walk. You wanna use your kendo footwork, whether it is a yumiashi or okuriashi, to reset and to always have that intention towards the opponent. Thank you for the clarification, discipline. That's really good. Again, you want to avoid that regular walk, like just like chill stroll towards your opponent. And you want to be ready at a farther distance than almost touching or while touching the sword. Canario, welcome. Thank you very much for passing by. That kote, there's many good things happening on this kote. Okay, first, you came in with an intention forward, right? You gave that first step, and you see in this one, you actually brought in your back foot much sharper. So I really like that you did here. So again, it's not that you don't do this. It's not that you don't know how to do it. You have this. It's just that maybe you want to apply this a little bit more consistently throughout your fight. And you came in with a very nice extension on that kote. Very nice extension with that kote. And the thing that I love the most is that you push off the ground and you actually have both feet off the ground for a kote. I think that this is spectacular. Okay, many people, or many times, a lot of us, when we hit the kote, we're dragging that back leg, or we're not even off the ground, the back leg, and it takes too long. You're not doing that. So again, you have great engagement of your legs and great extension for your kote. Many people hit the kote down rather than away from their body. This, man, A+. And of course, and somebody should make like a what's it called? Like a dubbing of this, because I think it will be a funny. Came in and said like, this is my house. You're like, okay, sorry. So here it could be another opportunity for you to show a little bit of a sharper footwork after you send them back, right? Here you're, right? So it's a little bit kind of like to relax as you're setting up. So you're kind of letting us know that at that moment, you don't expect to do anything. And if you were to do something, you will be like a little bit too jumpy, right? So you want to have that engagement just so you can have a little bit more readiness if the opponent decides to do something funny at that moment. Your opponent came out with no power there. Your opponent came on that one just as like, he just had to go. I think he probably felt desperate in here. And you came in response to your opponent. I personally, at this distance, because the way he came, I would have probably just deflected his opponent and like just move out of the way and re-engage immediately. Based on the way that you were. I feel that maybe you were a little bit too close already by the time that he decided to go. Right? And it was a little bit reactive, right? Like you kind of just saw it coming and you went in. Again, maybe it was because you were moving a little bit with your feet, a little bit too relaxed. If you look at this, you see like you kind of drop in as you go. As he goes. right? It looks kind of like he has to go and you're like, oh, I have to go. So at that moment, I would have just knocked it off and just re-engaged immediately. So if you would have done that, I feel that by this moment, you should already, if instead of attacking, you should have deflected him, you would have deflected him and turned around. Maybe by this point, you would have already been in Kamae, ready to give him pressure, and for him to then say like, oh my God, like, you know, I failed. There's nothing I can do here. So in my opinion, if you would have done that, maybe you would have ended like right around here rather than over here. And that way, when you turn around, you're not too far from your opponent. And that being said, when you come back quicken, you don't look like you're just strolling into the court. But again, what you did wasn't bad. I don't think you get taken points away from that at Jondan level. It's just one of the things. You also want to start kind of like maybe playing with your opponent's confidence, and that would have done that very well. This attack right here though, it feels like you did now what your opponent did before. It's like you decide, I'm gonna go for man, and you went in. I think you would have gone that man, by the way. I'm not saying that you wouldn't gone that man, but I think for me, what I would have done to make it, to increase the chances, is that you take that first step a little bit deeper, that right step a little bit deeper, and then use your, and when I say a little bit deeper, man, I mean like 1 or 2 centimeters, just so you have a little bit of a better grounding, and then put a little bit of pressure with the body to kind of not have to commit so early, because I feel that your opponent right here is when he made the mistake, but you already kind of like midway. So I'm not saying that you would have gotten it regardless of what, like by doing what I'm saying. I'm saying just to change the timing a little bit, because I feel that at this point he's kind of already kind of understanding your timing, maybe. Yeah, your opponent's kind of desperate at this point. Yes. You see, like that. So just to do this that you did here with the previous men, kind of like come in with the distance, change the timing slightly to then go for the technique. Great kote, by the way, great kote, amazing. Yeah, great test, man. Discipline, you're saying he's not dragging the back leg, but have stronger asymmetric tension on the back leg and release to bring the back leg faster for a faster hikitsuke. In which part are you talking about? Because I don't know if I said that he's dragging the back leg. I don't think he's dragging the back leg. I'm just saying when he's moving on the regular steps, or are you talking during the attacks? During the regular steps, you could use a little bit of a sharper motion. But I'm not saying that he's dragging though. Maybe I understand it differently that you do. So in this one, your opponent kind of took over, started before you did. To me, and I could be wrong, to me, it looks almost as if you're resting on this leg right now. So maybe that's the reason why your opponent was able to kind of just shift the timing and come in quick. Let's see. Yeah, because at this point, so it kind of maybe looked like you were on your kamae resting on that leg, so kind of standing straight, and then when you push your back leg, let me see. When your opponent goes, yeah, okay. So maybe because of the position you were in, when you push with your back leg, and by the way, look at how flat-footed the back leg is. The position that you're in, it's really hard to create momentum forward, right? Instead, your momentum is kind of being on the way up, right? So if you look at your leg, your knee, everything is coming up here, where you want it to kind of just go into this direction instead. And I think it's just because of the way that your body was on kamae. So this tends to happen to us when we're trying to like kind of get a little bit of rest. And maybe, I know the first fight is a lot of tension. So when we have to go back to back, our brain sometimes plays tricks on us saying like, oh, you must be tired or whatever. And then you try to kind of like find these positions where you're saving energy or something like this. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe this is not what's happening here. But it looked to me that it was just the way that the footwork was set up that didn't allow you to have the footwork that I know you can have for this moment. Okay. This is a personal preference, and this is something that I actually talked about it maybe a few weeks ago with a friend of mine. The height of your hands, I like to have my left hand a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher. I have long arms, so if I have it down that low, this is normally the most comfortable position for my arms. But when I push, kind of like in the heat of the moment, if I have them that low, I tend to push down and away from the body instead of forward. So this is something that I had to correct on myself, because if I have it that low, I would have that problem specifically. Discipline, he's not dragging, just giving tips to bring the back leg fat. Oh, okay, sorry. That's what I was asking, because I wasn't sure what you were talking about. He has good posture that's not slowing him down. Just use the left quad and glute to bring the leg up faster. Yes. And that's another thing. If you're new, if you haven't done kendo for too long, understand that you want to use your whole leg to move, not just your calf. Many people just kind of stick on the calf, and this is not the way. So you missed and you kept forward. That's good. This is something that happens commonly in kendo, guys. Something you want to avoid as much as possible. I think right now, the kamae, it's good. It's looking good. He's using the upper body to kind of put a little bit of pressure. Is good. That's perfect. I think at this point, there's too much weight on the forward leg. So I will try to either move the back leg a little bit forward, but that will put him too close. So instead, I will just kind of like inch my forward foot a little bit forward, or kind of just retreat back into kamae to kind of restart the pressure. Again, depending on the situation, but this is very good. But this, this dip before going forward. This happens a lot of the times because the back leg, okay, let me just record this real quick. So this is something that's very commonly seen in, sorry guys, like this setup is messing me up. This is something that happens quite often during a match, that you're engaged forward, but instead of immediately going forward, you kind of drop or you go up. And it all has to do with your leg engagement. In this case, he goes down, and this ends up happening because the back leg right here, it's letting go of the tension, okay? So you have to always be mindful to keep that intention forward towards the opponent. And then from there, here he has really good engagement, but because his body wasn't set up correctly, he kind of lost a little bit of time that he could have used to attack, and maybe would have given enough time for him to not be parried by his opponent. Does that make sense? Discipline, you said, hit like a truck. Yeah, good tatari, great tatari, yeah, amazing tatari. So yeah, you see here also that the left hand a little bit too low, right here. See, a little bit too low. It looks kind of, it looks kind of away from your body. I would just bring it slightly left hand a little bit higher to bring down the tip ever so slightly, and a little bit more towards the opponent. That being said, guys, and this is more for like the higher level, that you can mess around with the distance depending how high you have your tip, right? But you cannot do it by letting your hands go away from the proper kamae position. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't want to go too deep into it because this is definitely like, a higher level. I want to get people more feel. Let me see that kote real quick. So this is a very good timing for a kote. Very interesting. Okay. Really like it. Really like it. Good follow through. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of context for my test, because I think, for example, you had a lot of diversity in your waza, right? You had you tried kote, you tried kai shido, you went for different types of men. This is really good. In my test for Goldan, I did not. Let me give you a little bit of context. When I went this, I did it in Greece. I took this test in Greece, and I never tested outside of the US. So the first thing I did was to ask around, how are the tests there? What is the focus? And pretty much 99% of people were telling me they only care to see you do men, right? And they only care for a good men. So I always had this in my mind. So I think because of that, I kind of closed myself a lot into the men. I ended up having a really bad back leg pain. My left leg was hurting a lot, and I actually got tennis elbow from that day. Actually, from the practices leading up to that day. But that being said, I don't think that restricted me as much as it did my mentality of I have to do men. And this is kind of some of the things that you want to keep in mind when you go to your testing, that a lot of the times it's not your kendo training that holds you back, it's the things that you have in your head. So I wanted to kind of put my test with you just for the thing about the the engagement of the when moving around. Oh wait, sorry, this is not the beginning. Okay, so oh, you guys cannot hear this. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Was the previous video too loud? Let me know, guys, because like I realized that I lowered the volume only on one on my headphones. I didn't lower it for you guys, so I'm sorry if it was blasting. Okay, so for me, again, my main idea was to come in for men, and I think that if whoever I was fighting at this point, if he would have done something that wasn't men, I probably would have been like, you know, thrown off. That being said, luckily enough, and this is one thing that one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up this video is because yes, this could happen. You have this in your head, and this is not good to have in your head. But one thing that you always want to do is always go in for the attack. So whether you feel that you're gonna get it, you're not gonna get it, if you're midway, it's better for you to finish what you were doing rather than just look like confused or whatever, and you're still gonna get hit or whatever. So always try to just keep your momentum going. But so you see, this is kind of what I wanted to show, and I'm not saying that, again, I'm not doing this to say that like mine's perfect, whatever, because I don't think it is at all. But I try to kind of reset my kamae, and then try to take very little motion and always look like I am ready to fight, even when I'm far apart from my opponent. Does that make sense? I just kind of wanted to just bring that as an example. That's it. Okay. I know you guys probably seen my test because I have it in my channel. You guys want to see it? You guys can go there. So I wanted to play the last video for today. But actually, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna have. I just wanted to finish that video, guys. Okay, here. I wanted to do the finals from the Korean tournament. But let me know if that was clear. That's you know, you picked up what I was trying to say there, because I'm not saying that when you are so far, you shouldn't do Ayumiyashi, for example. You shouldn't just walk into the opponent, but I'm saying you want to always look engaged as much as possible. And this is something that specifically was told to me like 2 days before my test, and I was so freaking out about that. And then after I kind of been trying to keep this alive in every practice that I do. So every time try to be engaged, whether you're separated because, I don't know, like Tsubaseri I went too long and so on, you always want to have that engagement against your opponent. Okay. So this is the male's finals. Hey, wait, did I go so far in? What happened? Okay.
대학교를 나왔고 박효준 선수는 목포대학교를 나왔습니다.
그렇습니다.
장혜찬 선수가 개인전에서 우승 경력이 2개 있고 단체전에서도 우승 준우승을 했습니다.
장혜찬과 박효준의 결승전 이제 시작이 됐습니다.
박효준 선수는 실업대회에서 준우승을 2번 했거든요. 개인전에서.
자, 과연 2023년에
That was pretty cool. You always want to be able to have the intention to do more than one technique. If you fail the first one, you should be ready to go for the next one. Watch. So maybe all these techniques are not successful, but they're definitely a way to try to bring your opponent's mental status down, bring your opponent's mental strength down. And whether even if the point was not successful at this point, now his opponent is worried, like, okay, he can get me and I have to be careful of moving this way. Very good shiai control, by the way, too.
장혜찬 대 박효준. 두 선수가 동시에 칼을 들었습니다.
Now this is a little bit too close. As I told you guys, this is a new setup, so I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 1 second, let me make this a little bit. Ah. Okay, maybe like this, probably better. Oh, that was so okay. Many good things are happening here. First of all, Red is doing a great job at moving the shiai in small and sharp motions. Red is coming in very nicely. White as well. He's kind of keeping the distance, trying to find his moment. And then at this point, man, like that's such a good timing. Too bad it wasn't the right point, but
발끝에 살짝 부딪혀 보고 있습니다.
I was talking a little bit about the timing and using the back legs and so on. If you look in here, this moment right here, where, or everybody too, yeah, this is not only for but if you look at how White right now puts the pressure forward, kind of putting the upper body into the fight, but if you pay attention, you're gonna see that in the back foot is engaged. The back foot is ready to push in forward.
손목 쉽게 내주지 않고 있습니다.
So, to me, this distance is very dangerous. Very dangerous. What if you notice both of them, none of them at this point are planting their feet. They're really being light on their feet because they have to be careful with any movement the opponent does.
여기까지 올라온 선수들은 전부 대표 선수 후보감들이죠.
그럼요.
네.
Oh, White has had a couple of good, attempts at some techniques. Actually, both of them had. But right now, if you notice, White is trying to play around with the center of his opponent, trying to get him to trying to understand where the tension is. And I'm guessing because he can see or he can feel that his opponent is coming back into the center as he is putting the distance forward, he's realizing that maybe kote is going to be a good opportunity. And I think when he makes his attempt, you see his opponent kind of overcompensates, and then he goes in for that kote. He missed, but by very little, guys. He missed by very little. And all of this, it's possible because White has really good understanding of putting pressure and pulling it back with the feet. And at the same time, being ready when he sees the opportunity. Very cool.
전진해 보고 있는 장혜찬. 자,
칼을 드는 순간 손목 들어서나 좀 짧았습니다.
네.
기회는 잘 봤습니다만.
다시 기압을 넣어보고 있습니다.
I don't know if you're still here.
보이지 않아요.
I just want to make sure because I wanted to say this before I finished the video, and I guess I went directly into this one. Your test was really good. I really enjoy watching it, and watching it makes me want to practice with you. I think this is one of the things that you want to have for your kendo, right? That people see it and said, "Oh, that's cool," and I want to fight. I want to fight this person. So I was talking to Griva Sensei a while back, and one of the things that he was talking about for us to have good kendo is that good kendo should be entertaining for the judges, should be entertaining for us. We're watching this fight and we are having a good time watching all the different exchanges and the little things, the pressure and so on. These are the things that kind of catches our eyes. So for Godan, I think you have already good intention, good posture, good strength, follow through, and maybe playing around with your footwork and understanding how that footwork and your sword work can create pressure against your opponent, maybe what's gonna take you to the next level. But I think based on that video, it was really good. I really love it. Rise, you're saying that White is very experienced. Only a matter of time until White scores. You know what? Maybe I should do like I should. It would be kind of cool if I had like little games, like for people to like kind of like just bet or whatever on which side is gonna get the not bet, I guess, because we all have access to this video, so you probably know the answer too, but kind of give your opinions. Discipline. White would have probably scored that kote if he kept straighter posture. Kendoka need to understand all of that bad posture, giving up your reach advantage. In this case, Discipline, I disagree with you. The reason for that is because I think that reach was not the problem. I don't remember what was the timestamp. Hold on. Right now we're in 820. Okay. If you watch the kote landed outside of the striking area. I think it's here, right? Was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. If anybody remembers the timestamp, I think it's here. Nah. I think White was on the other side, right? Oh, okay. I don't know what it was, but he landed the kote. He just landed outside of the kote. He landed when it came to like hitting the arm. You hear? No, this is the one where he hits forward.
여기까지 올라온 선수들은 전부 대표 선수.
Maybe here? Ah, okay. So he lands there, and I think he lands there because he got into the wrong place. The posture, I understand what you're saying with the posture, but then it also goes to the point where I'm talking about also taking away our restrictions. In the moment of the fight, in the moment of like in the heat of the fight, we cannot always have good posture. We cannot always have the structure. I'm not saying don't care about posture. No, during training, yes, during training, type of things like this shouldn't happen. But when you're practicing for shiai, when you're doing shiai itself, a lot of the times you cannot really think about all the restrictions because you have to just be more mindful about just doing the technique, about going into it with all your might, that a lot of times like the frame of the posture becomes a little bit too restrictive. Again, just opinion. We were here. Sorry guys, let me go back a little bit further.
나가냈습니다. 박효준 선수가 먼저 공격을 시도해봤고요.
And also, it goes to say, this happens to everybody. These are the highest, the highest ranked of the tournament. These are not kind of like the beginners. These are professional kenshi, if I'm not mistaken, too, right? Because they really fight with power and intensity behind them, a little bit different than you will see at a casual shiai. And these people, you know, they train in a different way as well. And a lot of the times, again, they're just throwing everything they can based on the situation they're in. And they cannot really put themselves into a frame of things. Ah, this is a cool shot.
검도가 상대적이기 때문에 거리 좁히기가 굉장히 어렵습니다. 들어가면 그만큼 뒤로 물러버리기 때문에 그걸 순간적으로 그 거리를 좁혀서 채우는 게 기술이거든요. 그게 아주 어렵죠. 두 선수 지금 거리를 확보를 잘 못하니까 공격을 잘 못하고 있는 거예요.
여기서 어느 정도 좁혀야겠다 그런 계산이 나올 텐데.
그렇죠. 자기만의 그 거리가 있거든요.
사실 그 한 걸음 좁히기가 참 어렵죠.
어렵습니다. 그러니까 일척간두 진일보라고 하듯이 지금 그 높은 절벽 위에 한 발 내딛는 게 어렵다고 하지 않습니까?
그렇죠.
그와 같은 심정입니다. 한 발 내딛어서 잘못 내딛으면 맞을 수 있거든요.
신중하게 다시 중단 견우 1분 남았습니다.
오.
기회가 아닙니다.
다시 마음가짐을 재정비하고 있습니다. 장예찬과 박효준. 살짝 휘둘러 봤습니다.
Discipline, you're saying? Okay, hold on, because the time is like
이런 경기는 과감한 선수가 이깁니다.
almost done.
과감하게 좁혀 들어가는 선수가 이기게 돼 있습니다.
Is it me or Red's shinai is kind of like slightly bent downwards?
공을 향해서
Look like it
번의
bent.
조율이 필요한데요. 시간이 이제 얼마 없네요.
일반부 선수들이 기량이 아까 대학부 선수보다 좀
Okay, it's gonna be Encho. So discipline. Let me read your comment. You're saying that you're stickler when it comes to posture with your brief background in Aikido. Without good posture, timing, and movement, it's impossible to perform a nage waza or throw waza. Yeah, but this is not Aikido, man. The reason why I say that is because a lot of the times, posture, it affects stability. But a lot of the times you can have good stability without the proper posture, depending on the technique you're doing and the motion. And a lot of the times that happen, you have to, for the comparison that you're giving me, at least, you have to have good posture to be able to grab something and move it, right? But when you're striking, a lot of the times you can have bad posture after the moment of striking, bad posture before the moment of striking, but in between have good posture. But all in all, I feel that stability and a proper connection of your body with your sword is what's going to give you to have a solid waza. Because if you looked at that kote, okay, maybe he could have gone a little bit deeper, but he could also gone a little bit deeper just by lifting his hands slightly, not necessarily by fixing his posture, right? And again, if I think, it's my belief, in a fight, if you're thinking about how you are more than taking the opportunity that's there, a lot of those times it might make you lose that opportunity, or even worse, give the opportunity for your opponent to hit you. You know, a lot of times, like if the way I see it, I guess, is imagine like shooting, you know, like in the battlefield and shooting at the shooting range. Yeah, at the shooting range, you have to have certain posture, you practice certain posture and stuff like that. But, you know, in the battlefield, I don't think that it's going to be such a big emphasis on how you're standing. I don't know if that makes sense, and this is just the way I see it. Just let me know what you guys think. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Jan is here. Jan, if you're here, let me know. But back in the day, I had a talk with Jan, and I said I was comparing Kendo and Iaido to the shooting range and paintball. Right? I don't know if it just was a funny conversation we were having, but I guess you could kind of compare them like that a little bit, right? They're both kind of like the same, but they're very different on their execution as well. So I don't know, just fun topics, fun Kendo topics.
중간에서 겨눠 가지고 들어가는 수 있는 그 배짱이 없습니다.
Discipline. I agree with you 100%. You train you train properly until it's automatic. Then you don't have to think. But they're not training. They're fighting. That's the point that I'm trying to say right now. They're not training. They are fighting. When you're in this moment, if you're considering your posture more than you're considering your opponent, I think you're gonna have trouble. At this point, you shouldn't be thinking about posture. My thoughts, my opinions. Now, Avi, you can see a comparison? Yeah, I thought it was, I don't know, kind of fun comparison. Anyways.
연장이 시작됐습니다. 자, 허리.
Listen, if that wasn't an Ippon, but if that would have been a sword, those guts would be all over the floor.
자, 허리. 네. 제대로 안 들어갔어요.
네.
한번 손목을 번갈아 노려봤고.
After the Ippon, you guys, I'm gonna share something
서로 기회가 아닐 때 지금
with you guys.
예. 이 두 선수도 긴장을 좀 많이 한 것 같아요.
Yeah, that's a nice bench.
없으니까 지금 서로가.
네. 허리. 손목. 오. 다시 자세를 잡습니다.
과정이 좋아야 된다고 아까 말씀드렸는데
예.
아까 대학부 경기는 참 과정이 참 좋았거든요.
예.
지금 일본 경기는 과정이 별로 안 좋습니다.
Yeah, White, it's. I think White is being a little bit overcommitted into this one. So it could be dangerous because Red can start picking up his timing.
거리 밖에서 그냥 뛰는 거죠.
조금 무리한 시도들이 이어지고 있습니다. 그래도 선수들이 좀 부담감도 많이 느낄 것 같고
결승이기 때문에 부담을 많이 갖고 있는 것 같습니다.
아직까지는 좀 제 기량을 못 보여주는 것 같은데요.
기회인데 몸을 던져서 들어가야 되거든요.
네. 박효준이 다가가고 있습니다. 살짝 물러나면서 거리 유지하는 장혜찬.
Discipline, you said all you do is oikomi. Oikomi is a great tool, but do you include kakarigeiko into it? Because kakarigeiko, I think, is a little bit more
자신이 없으니까 칼을 드는 겁니다.
transferable into fight than oikomi. Oikomi is a great training for resistance, for intensity, and as you said, stability for continuous technique. But I think you have to put it together with kakarigeiko.
머리. 네. 지금도 역시 지금 기회를 잘 봐야 되겠습니다.
네, 박효준 선수는 칼 견제를 잘 하다가 결정적인 때 팍 들어가야 되는데 칼을 들어버립니다.
네.
들어서 들어가
I don't
버리면
know,
기회가 사라지죠.
Red might take it.
견제를 해서 기회라고 생각할 때 앞으로 쭉 뻗어 들어가야 되는데
Red might take it, and it might be for that exact same reason, discipline, that he's kind of going in over and over and over.
시도를 해봤습니다.
And Red might find an opening in between those techniques. He might catch the timing and catch that ippon.
지금 한 점 싸움이기 때문에 잘못되다 한 점 맞으면 지기 때문에
네.
서로 부담이 많이 되는 것 같습니다.
손목.
Yeah, I think White,
지금
it's
빗맞았군요.
generally a stronger Kenshi, but I feel like Red is kind of catching into the timing.
한 번의 기회를 기다리고 있는 두 선수. 자, 기회가 잘 안 생깁니다.
안 생깁니다.
자, 정말 이제 집중을 해야 되는 시점인데요.
네, 서로 바른 자세로 바르게 공격해 들어가야지 좋은 기술이 나오는데
허리.
Oh.
하지만 득점은 되지 않았습니다.
네, 위에 맞았습니다.
네.
Okay, honestly, it could have gone either way, right? I thought White had it, but then when I didn't see the white flag go up, I felt that Red could have been the. This is crazy. That was I think of.
네. 하지만 득점은 되지 않았습니다.
네, 위에 맞았습니다.
네. 자, 지금 같은 한 순간을 또 노려야 됩니다.
네. 조금만 정확히 쳤으면 득점을 연결시킬 수 있었습니다.
네.
Oh.
자. 아, 좀처럼 못 들어가요. 장혜찬. 네. 다시 서로 검을 맞대봤습니다.
지금 두 선수 다 과감하게 공격다운 공격을 한 적이 한 번도 없습니다.
네.
그냥 내용이 아주 안 좋습니다. 부담이 너무 큰 것 같습니다.
네.
두 선수가.
예전에 이제 무제한 승부가 아니라 판정을 하던 적도 있었는데
네, 맞습니다. 그러면 공격을 안 할 수가 없죠.
네.
판정에서는.
지금 같은 경기면 사실 판정을 하기도 좀 어려운
어렵습니다.
내용입니다.
검도는 판정은 저는 아니라고 생각합니다.
네.
끝까지 한 판을 겨뤄야 됩니다. 자꾸 들으니까 기회가 없는 거예요.
손목.
앞으로 그냥 중간에서 쫙 뻗어 들어가야 돼요.
네. 자, 칼을
Ooh.
크게 쳐봤고
It's a lot of tension. A lot of tension in this one, man.
야, 한 점이 이렇게 어렵군요.
네. 군더더기가 없어야 되는데.
They're getting very close to each other.
준결승 경기 때는 상당히 잘했던 선수들인데 결승 오니까 내용이 안 좋군요.
그만큼 결승이 참 부담스럽기도 하고 긴장이 많이 되는 무대입니다.
Yeah, man, both are tired,
네.
but
자,
still doesn't take away
허리도 지금 쉽게 들어가지
from them
못했습니다.
throwing techniques with energy. And this is the part that we all need to
막혔어요.
remember.
네.
Many times we have an opening and we just throw a technique without the energy and just lose that opening. Guys, if you guys can give me some feedback on how are the volumes of things,
이 시간이 이제 뭐 10분
I'll appreciate that.
앞으로 밀고 들어가야 되는데 들어가지를 못해요.
네.
그 한계를 넘어서지를 못합니다.
자, 조금 더 좁히면서
You see, right here, let me go back to this one real quick. This one is tricky, right? Because if you look at it, he threw a technique. He threw that kote. Why threw a kote?
그
And
한계를
he missed
넘어서지를
completely, right? And if you look at it, look what happened. He was going backwards as that was happening, right? As he was going, as red was coming in, white was going back. And then when he decides to throw the kote, he throws the kote without that engagement forward with the leg. So the back leg is holding him in place. But I think if he would have, if you look at the timing on here, his momentum is backwards and he's moving the sword forward. So if he would have been able to switch the momentum slightly before that and push forward at the moment that he's moving the hands, I think he probably would have gotten that kote.
조금 더 좁히면서 시도를
Maybe.
해야 될 것 같은데.
Or at least had more
칼을
chances.
들어버리고.
네.
칼을 죽이고 들어가야죠. 좋은 기술이 안 나와요.
So discipline, we're talking a little bit about posture and so on. And for example, this is something that if you see yourself, when you're in practice, when you're doing your kihon and you're practicing to be fast, right? Let's say that you're practicing your reaction and your opponent is kind of doing a motion so you can go immediately. You want to avoid extra movements like this one, right? So he's going in, especially when you're doing like Jigeko, for example, you want to try to learn how to be committed straight into a technique rather than and then coming in, right? So this is one of the things that you want to avoid during practice. But during shiai, obviously this is not something that he does on purpose.
좋은 기술이 안 나와요.
네. 자, 한 번의 기회면 되거든요.
That's for a timeout.
끈이 풀어진 것 같습니다.
Okay.
네. 우리가 필요했고. 예.
And granted, on the COVID rules for in Japan, they're giving breaks
근데 이제 등띠가
because of the mask. They're giving short breaks. Here, they're not.
네.
So we were talking about being lax about the rules. They're a little bit, I guess, in that sense, they're less lax. But on the other side, that nose is out of that. That nose is out of the mask.
자, 상당히 장기전으로 이어지고 있는 일반부 결승전.
지금 주임
What's going on there?
심판장의
Okay.
진행이 그런 때는
After a break this long, you gotta be extra careful, and I feel like that's what's happening right now because you might get a different opponent than the one you left before you put your sword away. So you have to be ready for anything that can come your way. So it's very interesting how they're approaching each other like this now rather than the way they were doing it at the end of the fight because they're trying to understand each other again.
아, 이제는 승부를 걸어야 하는 시점이죠.
소극적이에요. 소극적.
네.
과감한 선수가 이깁니다. 과감한.
자, 밀어붙여 봅니다. 박효준.
둘 다 경기 운영을 똑같이 비슷하게 지금 하고 있습니다.
네.
그러니까 승부가 안 납니다 지금.
네. 다가가는 박효준. 자, 잘 안 좁혀지네요.
지금 두 선수 다 공격해 들어가기 전에 칼을 예비 동작이 있죠. 자꾸 칼을 든다든지
네네.
딱 이 중단 겨누면서 그냥 앞으로 군더더기 없이 던져야 되거든요.
네.
근데 예비 동작이 있으니까 거기에 다 그 기미를 다 알아채는 거죠.
아, 이렇게 되면 뭐 점수 내기가
네, 어렵죠.
그렇겠네요.
바보 아닌 다음에야 맞을 일이 없죠.
네. 자,
오.
지금도 들었습니다. 자, 박효준이 조금씩 움직여 보는데요. 네.
자신 있게 들어가면 점수도 될 수 있는 건데 자신이 없습니다.
자,
치고 맞을까봐 바로 움츠러 들어버리죠.
그러네요.
네.
Yeah, they're tired.
지금 피하고
They're
있습니다.
definitely tired. Whew. So before I was talking about when the pressure of both players is not doing something, they have to change the timing. So right now, I feel that
아주 잘하는
they have to do the same thing here.
경기장에 가면
Not necessarily it's always about going in harder, going in faster, but it's something that you need to understand how to change the things to make sure that you have an opening.
신중하게 자세를 잡고 있습니다. 들어가 보나요? 네. 아,
He thought he got it. Discipline. You said that this proved that strength and conditioning it's important in kendo. You have to be prepared if you go into encho. Yeah, this is correct. Correct. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared. Oh wait, what happened here? What is this? Hold on, guys. Sorry, like this thing got jumped. This thing jumped to another video. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. So this was the test. Yeah, this was the test. So where's the? Okay, guys, give me 1 second, please.
긴박감 있고 재밌는데
네.
Okay, so here we are.
지금 이런 이 경기는 아주 지루하죠.
다시 신중하게 자세를 잡고 있습니다.
Yeah, now I'm just sorry because like I lost that spot. I don't know what happened there.
들어가 보나요? 네.
It was this one here, right? Yeah. So at this moment, he puts a little bit of pressure, brings in the back foot, straight kamae, comes in with a little bit of a feint, comes close, and then throws in for that man. This is very good opening, and I think something that I mentioned a couple times on my streams before is that many times when somebody blocks, somebody moves the hand to do a block, when they realize that they overreacted, they tend to overcompensate, so they make a big opening. So a lot of times it's not about hitting when before they try to block. A lot of times is you want to hit them after they realize, oh, I blocked my mistake, so I have to come back into my position, right?
들어가 보나요?
But yeah.
네. 아,
Yeah, that looked like a man.
지금도
He felt that he got it too, so that made it a little bit extra special, I guess.
허리. 네. 이제는 뭐 지금 15분 이상 진행이 되다 보니까 선수들이 집중력이 떨어질 수밖에 없을 것 같아요.
지금 마음속으로는 죽을 지경일 겁니다. 아마.
네.
두 선수 다.
I feel like red might have it now.
자, 조심스럽게 움직이는 장혜찬.
That was such a weird, like, mutual decision of taking a break. Look,
자, 조심스럽게 움직이는 장혜찬.
kind of reminds me like when cats are fighting and then like all of a sudden like just stop fighting.
자, 조심스럽게
Like, okay.
움직이는 장혜찬.
Okay, let's just reset.
두 선수 모두 초반에 비하면 지금 자세가 많이
Ninety.
흐트러졌거든요.
If I'm tense,
뭐 준결승까지는
These guys must be
경기를
like
해왔던 선수들인데
crazy.
그렇습니다.
결승에 와서 너무 소극적으로 하는군요.
치지 못했습니다.
뛰어 들어가지를 못하고 제자리에서만 치지요.
네.
지금 뛰어 들어가야 됩니다.
네.
correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm seeing more and more in tournaments, especially like away from Nanadan and Hachidan tournaments. People just coming in with this approach of racing up, just like big like this. I'm seeing it more and more lately, and
뛰어 들어가지를 못하고 제자리에서만 치지.
I don't know. You guys, let me know if you guys have been noticing this as well.
뛰어 들어가야 됩니다.
네.
Right, yes, momentum is on Red's favor right now.
수 있을 것 같은데요.
맞습니다. 용기 있게 과감하게 들어가는 사람이 이깁니다.
들어가나요?
저거
네.
저거 칼 들어서 치니까 저거 맞을 수가 없죠.
네.
쭉 뻗어 들어가야 됩니다.
이미 상대 눈에 좀 보이는 거죠.
네, 그렇죠.
자, 지금
Oh, listen, this is the third Suki that he has thrown, I think. I don't think. Isn't that obviously we cannot see the target, but that came out.
자, 찌름. 네.
빛나.
That is definitely gonna wake up Red. So what's going to happen is either Red now is going to be a little bit more hyper aware and moving a lot more, or this is gonna get to his head and then White might get the momentum back.
공격까지 시도해 보고 있는 박효준 선수. 저걸 또 정확히 맞히기가 참 어렵거든요.
그러면
네.
찌르면 어렵죠. 이 목 부위를 찔러야 되기 때문에.
네.
그리고 가만히 있는 상대도
네, 끝났습니다.
머리 들어갔군요.
So, I told you, Red just like
때문에
is gonna move a lot more, right?
그리고 가만히 있는 상대도
He went in for that technique. He went in for that one. Very nice, very nice. I think they have slow motion from a different angle in here. Hold on. Please tell me they have slow motion with a different angle. Oh, they don't. Come on. Okay,
이겼습니다.
let's do with what we have. Okay, so final Ippon.
그러면 찌르면 어렵죠. 이 목 부위를 찔러야 되기 때문에.
네.
그리고 가만히 있는 상대도
The timing of it, or the rhythm, I should say, it's pretty cool because he was kind of like he threw it in the timing of two techniques. Let's watch it a little bit slow motion.
찔러야 되기 때문에. 그리고
So you see, he did a big motion, kind of like a Katsugi, right? Let's watch it one more time. Yeah, like he kind of did almost like a Katsugi into it, making him try to block the man. And when White realized that he wasn't getting hit there, he overcompensated. So again, I said a lot, many times the opportunity to strike is not before your opponent has the time to block, but instead after they block. Many times after they see that they overreact, they have to overcompensate. If you try to hit the person before they block, a lot of times they're expecting it and they block it so you don't get there in time. But if somebody realizes that they overreacted, they're going to try to either block somewhere else or say, okay, this was a wrong reaction, and try to overcompensate and over-relax. And this, a lot of the times, tends to be a better opportunity for a technique. And I think that's what happened here. To go a little bit deeper into this, he does the first motion as if there's a technique. So almost kind of like the timing of like kotemen, like pop pop, right? Watch. 1 fumikomi, 2 fumikomi. Regular speed.
그리고 가만히 찌르면 어렵죠. 이 목 부위를 찔러야 되기 때문에. 그리고 가만히 있는 상대도
끝났습니다.
머리 들어가.
I wish I had a different angle, but great opportunity.
찔러야 되기 때문에. 그리고 가만히 있는.
So as you can see, after he brings the sword above his head and sideways, White had already anticipated an attack, so he blocks in one side. He's trying to block in one side, but then he sees that his opponent's sword is coming from a different angle, so he tries to kind of bring the tip kind of to cover that angle where he felt threatened, and then Red adjusted into going straight for the man where the previous block was. So again, you always want to try to figure out the right time to attack, and do not hold yourself back after the opponent blocks, because the opportunity might be there after the block rather than before it. Hope that makes sense. Let me know that in the comments. This is something very interesting and something that you can play around with, and something that you can use as well and try to experiment on every practice. What is your opponent doing to your pressure, to your attack? And do you have an opportunity after this moment? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you find out. So this is actually very interesting. I will recommend, guys, if you can try to keep this in mind, take it to practice, and then come back and tell me if this was something that you noticed, like something useful, where the person overreacted and then overcompensated. Yeah, these are pretty cool, pretty cool exchanges. Guys, I'm gonna leave the stream up to this point. Again, anybody that's here that hasn't, there's the Discord server that you are welcome to pass by, check it out, become a member. It's completely free, and that way you can meet new Kendo people all around the world. The link is on the comments. And if you would like to help the channel, support the channel, become a member, you can do so. You can check out the perks on the link that I just dropped in the comments. This way you are you're welcome to help out the channel by becoming a member, and you get some extra things your way. I'll be having a couple of guests. I'm sorry guys, because I haven't been able to make too many videos right now. There's a couple of things I have going on. Again, I'm planning a big trip, so I'll be putting together some things for you guys. Your suggestions are always welcome, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me see something. Let me see if the bot will put the link for the, yeah, if you like the Mario shirt, you can find it in the link that just popped up. I didn't know this thing was still working, but that'll be cool, guys, if you guys can check it out. That being said, guys, thank you very much for being here. You guys keep me motivated to keep training, to keep understanding and learning new things so I can share them with you. If you have any questions, let me know always here in the channel, or you can pass by the Discord server. That way you can ask all the questions and you can send me your own videos so I can use them here on the stream, okay? Thank you very much, guys. You have a good rest of your weekend. Please have good practices and practice safe. Take care, guys. Bye.